or boot up into BIOS. To do that, you hit the delete key. Okay, so what we did was we went into BIOS and we went right into the advanced mode, and we set up a bunch of configurations. One of the most important things was to turn on the virtual machine hardware virtual machine support. So we turned that on, and then we came over and we ran the easy tuning wizard to boost the speed of the GPU, the CPU, and the RAM. And then what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a BIOS update. And you go to the Tools menu, to the utility, the Flash utility, and one of the nice features is that it allows you to access the hard drive. And so instead of having a flash memory, I can just go through here and work my way to the directory that I stored the firmware in. BIOS. Okay, so we're gonna upload version 1401N into the BIOS. So we're gonna read the file. Do I want to update the BIOS? I'm gonna say yes, and let it process. Okay, now it's going to reboot. Booted, and one of the little bit of annoying things is that when you reboot the BIOS, it loses all your or reload a new version of the BIOS, it loses all your settings. So you have to go back individually and make sure that all the things you had turned on are still turned on. And so I go to the advanced setting right here, and I go to the Intel virtualization technology. That's normally disabled, so I turned it on. You can go to each individual options and make sure that they're all still turned on. So the way you move back and forth, so you click on something and then you come back up to the item and it'll take you back to the previous directory. It took me a little while to figure that out. All the power management features are enabled or on auto. Okay, so we're going to go back and just check each one of these configurations to make sure that they're what I remember setting. So it looks like all the SATA ports are set up for having the smart check turned on, and then the AHCI hardware communication interface turned on. I'm not hot plugging any of these things, so that's turned off. So that default configuration is pretty good. So we're going to turn these on for the virtual technology, virtualization. Just defaults. Oh, these are defaults. Just going to use use all the defaults for the USB ports for now. We're going to use defaults for all this. High finished audio is turned on. We're going to enable the battery charging support. Bluetooth controller we're going to leave enabled. Wi-Fi controller enabled. And we're just going to keep those options. Also, you notice when you hover over something, this little information bar will tell you some information about it. It's not really, sometimes it could be more descriptive on what the thing is. I usually have to go look some of these things up to know what they are. All right, now I'm going to leave those off. I do have a problem where when it goes into suspend mode or goes to sleep, it wants not to reboot, and it just keeps turning on and turning off. So some of the advanced power features I haven't oops, I keep doing that. I haven't turned on and off. I haven't turned on yet because of that issue. So maybe this BIOS version will fix that problem. So I'm going to go to the tuning wizard and let it automatically boost my overclocking, and I'm going to do editing, gaming and editing mode, and I have a tower cooler, and so now it thinks it can speed up the CPU by 16% and the RAM by 14%, and I'm going to say next. Going to let it do it. Okay, we're back. Okay, so the CPU frequency you can see is now at 4.08 gigahertz. You can see the RAM memory is 2448, and cache frequencies, the bus frequency is 102 megahertz. You can see it grabbed the XMP information off the DRAM cards. So we're going to be running a little bit faster now that the overclocker utility is run, wizard is run. Now I could push it a lot faster, but for now, that's can look at my monitor ports to see how things are running, chassis fan speeds, the core voltages, some auto fan controllers. I can change the mode. I can put them in pulse width modulation mode if I want to do some controlling, and right now I'm just going to leave them in the default configuration. I found it. Okay, so it's overclocking profile, and then I can give it a name. I'll just call it after the name of the first BIOS, and then hit enter. Save my profile. Okay, so now I have a profile here, so all my settings are saved here. If I want to tweak it, I can change them. If I want to load a new profile, I can load the new profile, and as long as I don't update the BIOS, it'll remember them. Maybe there's some way to write them to a disk and then reload them somehow. Save changes.